Questions. Sunday Satsang, January 1st, 2023, Radha Kunda. Happy New Year. Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe. Shalom. Questions? Okay, guys. Questions? Yeah, just
what is the right way to understand if like they said there is no time in spiritual world, but then there are different leelas happening on every other day, and just now you told like Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita about age, like we are coexistent, but then there is a conception of age, like different ages between Manjaris, Sakhis, and then Krishna himself. How do we understand this?
Yeah, the questions asked about time in the spiritual world and different days and nights and months, the rising of the sun, setting of the sun, rising of the moon, setting of the moon. And different devotees in the spiritual world, different ages, how do we adjust this? Time is just one of the elements for serving Krishna. There's no negativity there, no debilitation, no diminution, everything is eternally present. So it's eternally present time, but manifesting different features to serve Krishna's desire to enjoy morning, noon, and evening. There's sun in the spiritual world, there's spiritual sun, spiritual moon, spiritual stars. There's spiritual winter, spiritual summer. It's very hard to understand. So we have to this is what the scriptures explain. But see, we have experience of time here. Time destroys everything. Krishna says in Gita, Kalosmi, I am time, I have come to destroy everything. Everything is destroyed in time. But in the spiritual world, nothing is destroyed in time. Time is in the background, not in the foreground. In the material world, time is in the foreground. It's in everybody's eyes are like two clocks. And our heart is like beating a second hand. Second, do. So many heartbeats, so many breaths, then you're finished, you're dead. You leave the body. But in the spiritual world, there's no diminution, no one gets old, no one gets weak, no one dies. It's eternally present, but today, there's tomorrow. They make plans. Okay, tomorrow we're going to go to Mansarovar. Next, the day after tomorrow, we're going to Kamyavan. We'll go to different places. They make plans and they meet different places, different times. It's there. Everything's positive for Krishna's happiness and pleasure. Here, the environment is dragging us to death. Jaman Richard Javyadi, Duga Darsana Darshana. Their time is the friendly servant of Krishna. The gopis, they met Krishna for the rasa dance, and they said, oh boy, it's nice going so fast, And then they said, but Krishna, we want to dance with you forever. So Krishna said, okay. And he extended the night of the rasa dance for millions of years. It's amazing. Millions of years. Even time you go to a different planet, it's different thing going on. Like once, who was it? Revati's father went to Brahmaloka. He said, Brahmaji, I want to marry my daughter Revati. So Brahma said, sit down, don't bother me. I'm listening to a song. And some celestial beings were singing a song for the pleasure of Brahma. So King Kakubni, or whatever his name was, the father of Revati, he sat there. And the song was sung, and finally it was over. So then the king, Revati's father, asked Brahma, can you make arrangements for for a husband. He said, yeah, but while you've been up here listening to this song, millions of years have gone by. So you don't have to worry about, you have no wife, all your relatives are long dead and gone. It's just you and your daughter up here. There's a whole new world there. It's millions of years have gone by. We're in Brahmaloka. You just heard this one song for 20 minutes, but millions of years went by on Earth planet. Eons and eons of years went by on Earth planet. And your daughter is very tall. Your daughter's from Satya. She's like 20 feet tall. Everybody's very short there. There's a real nice guy there you can marry your daughter to, but he's real short. But what's his name? His name is Baladev. So who is he? He's God. Oh, that's a good deal. So he came down to Earth planet, introduced his daughter, and she said, he's so short. He's too short. She's like a Russian lady, They're all like 7 feet tall. So the king asked Balaram, what are you going to do about that? You're too short. He said, no problem. So Balaram took his plow and put it on Revati's shoulder and made her 3 inches shorter than him. So they got married. Revati Ram, Balaram Revati. And this shows the effect of time in this world. It can be crazy effects. But in the spiritual world, time is fun. It's all a fun time. Like you have the phrase playtime. The kids are in school, then they have recess. What's this time? It's called playtime. 45 minutes. Well, Krishna's playtime is Astakaya Leela. Krishna's playing 24 hours. So it's always playtime. And playtime never ends. School never begins. You read any description of Krishna going to school? No. Not in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a place for truancy, cutting school, cutting class. When Krishna moved to Mathura, his father Vasudeva and Devaki said, why are you stupid? You don't know anything. You can't write Sanskrit. You can't speak Sanskrit. You don't have Gayatri, you're not initiated. You have to go to Gurukul. Oh no, Gurukul. What's that?
Dog.
Dog?
Puppy. Puppy's here.
Inside. No, I don't know. Let him go. I don't know how to get in. No, let him do his thing.
It's fine. Don't worry, sit down.
Don't become another dog.
Yeah, you can see
I probably know him. He's brown?
Yes. It's
black
black.
one.
There's 2 black ones, 1 brown one.
Yeah, don't worry.
They live with Bhagavati. They came here, they sniffed her out. Hey, right, dog. Like the dog. Oh, that's one of the little black ones. Hey, Sham. Hey. Anyway, I guess he came in the door. Okay, he's having a good time. He's playing. Let him play. So don't worry about time. But use your time now to serve Krishna all the time, so you can go to the timeless realm. Time is here just to serve. Just like you live in Sweden or Norway, it's so boring because 6 months a year it's dark. Yeah, you go to work in the dark, come home in the dark, everything's dark because it's so far north. So that's a boring thing. So time here creates boredom and it doesn't create happiness. But there, time in the spiritual world is all for Krishna's happiness and joy and Leela. Everything, everyone in the spiritual world is serving Krishna's bliss and Leela. It's all positive, it's all progressive, it's all fun, it's all play. Playtime. Astakali Leela, Leela means play. A playtime, sunrise playtime, morning playtime, afternoon playtime, play. play ball. So, you want to go there? Hare Krishna, you go to the land of play. That's what they say. Another question? Yeah.
Maharaj, in Radha Kunda, the Priyanarma Sakhas can enter. How is it in Govindastali? I never heard they go there. And how, my second question is, if the Priyanarma Sakhas cannot join the pastime, like the Manjaris, they have this tadatmya, and they feel, they have signs, they feel like the love of Radharani. To the Priyanarma, how the Priyanarma Sakhas experience the pastime when they are not there?
Seems like there's three questions mixed up there. The questions asked about Priyanarma Sakhas of Krishna and Krishna's Nitya Lila, how they experience Radha and Krishna's intimate pastimes. Is that what you're saying? In Radha Kunda, or you said two different places?
Govindastali. Do they go to Govindastali, the Priyanarma Sakhas?
So the Priyanarma Sakhas go to Govindastali. It usually doesn't, I haven't read specifically description that the Priyanarma Sakhas are present in Govindastali, but Bhakti-Rasa Sindhu and Ujjalanamani talk about Priyanarma Sakhas in terms of, it doesn't say where the Leela is going on. But, yeah, Chokidar's dog, bad timing for the dog. It doesn't specifically say where the Leelas are going on, it just tells Leelas and what the degree of intimacy is. For example, where it is, I don't know. It can be Radha Kunda, it can be some kunja, maybe not Govindastali, specifically Govindastali Yoga Vid Mandir, because we don't read any description. But outside of Mandir is surrounded by kunjas. Asasaki kunjas are there, and 16 Saki kunjas, and there's thousands of kunjas surrounding the Kali Mandir. Is called Govindastali or Kali Mandir. Radharani Sabhagya Mandap, there's different names for that Govindastali. So when Ujjalanamani describes the intimacy of relationship of Priyanarma Sakhas, he describes that Radharani is lying on Krishna's chest and Krishna is perspiring, and Subhaka's in the kunja wipes perspiration on his forehead. So where is that kunja? Maybe it's Radha Kunda, or maybe it's at Govindastali and Rachi Lila. We don't know because it's not told. But that's the degree of intimacy that they have. And we see that they're there. The Priyanarma Sakhas, like Subal, it's usually Subal is cited as an example. In the most intimate experiences with Radha and Krishna, doing some seva, fanning, or wiping the face, or giving some tumble, etc. As far as physical transformations on the body, I haven't read anything. Like you were trying to make a comparison, or you were asking a question about a comparison between Priyanarma Sakhas and Manjaris. They're not the same. Because Priyanarma Sakhas, I may be mistaken, but I haven't read it, haven't come across. Maybe we can ask you also this question. Haven't come across any description where Priyanarma Sakhas show physical transformations like the Manjaris do. Like when the Manjaris, when Radharani, when Krishna bites Radharani's lips, the Manjaris can get bites in their lips. When Krishna scratches Radharani, the Manjaris will get scratches also. The Radharani's crying in Yavagram because her mother won't let her out of the house, mother-in-law won't let her out of the house. The Manjaris that are already in Radha making arrangements for Radharani's Leela, they start crying because they're well in Radharani's heart. So these are subject vikars, transformation of their body due to their emotional connection and heart connection with Radharani. I haven't read the same intimacy of the Priyanarma Sakhas with Krishna. Is that your question? It may be, but it could be some parallel, some points of comparison. I haven't read it in Goswami books. I can't comment. They're pretty far, they're right there, Priyanarma seconds are right there in the Kunja with Radha and Krishna. Not after, not during. There's no description of Priyanarma seconds that Krishna's taking one by the hand and bring him into the flower bed. Paryanka savitam vastra vacharitam. It's in Vrindavamaya Mamrita, Prabhupada Saraswati says, the Radharani takes Manjari by her hand, pulls her into the flower bed, and lies next to Manjari. And when they fall asleep together, Krishna's there in the flower bed, Radharani's in the flower bed, Manjari's in the flower bed. And Radharani and Manjari's legs are intertwined, and Radharani's head is on Manjari's arm, Manjari's arm is on Radharani's. Manjari's head is resting on Radharani's arm. And Krishna's on the other side. Odd man out. So that's pretty intimate. So Manjari's, I haven't read anything like that with the Priyanarma Sakhas. It's so inconceivably intimate, so inconceivably high, and so far away. It's like a blind man trying to see the stars in the sky. Satyanarayana Das Babaji made a nice analogy. He says, trying to talk about these subjects is like trying to teach music to a deaf person. Because what is our adhikar, what is our purity, what is our state of our antakaran, our mind and intelligence? What kind of purity do we have by Nam Bhajan? But it's certainly very attractive and sweet proposals and descriptions. We hold all these subjects on our head and worship them. And pray for that day to come someday. We have 364 days to realize it. The new year, 364 more days. Every day should be a step closer to realizing our eternal identity. Realizing our eternal identity means seeing our eternal identity that comes as Bhava Bhakti. That's high state. It's attainable by sadhana and by kripa. Questions?
What are the most important chapters of Bhagavad Gita that Raganuga Bhakti have to study to practice Raganuga Bhakti? What are the most important chapters?
What are the most important chapters which a Raganuga Bhakti Sadhaka should read?
Bhagavad Gita.
Sorry, Bhagavad Gita, yeah.
What's the most important chapters of Bhagavad Gita that Raganuga sadhaka should read? Generally, Bhagavad Gita by all Vaishnavas is read every single day. There are two books that are read by all Vaishnavas every day, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Of the two, we should emphasize Bhagavatam, because all our tapas, Siddhanta, and all the truth of Vrindavan and Radharani and Manjaris and Gopis is all contained in Bhagavatam. But Bhagavad Gita is the eternal song of Krishna and gives great satisfaction and solace to the bhaktas. So that's why there's a whole press in India called Gita Press from Gorakhpur in UP, which is dedicated to distributing Bhagavad Gitas in all different sizes, little mini, all different sizes, so people can always chant slokas from Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is, the six Goswamis didn't comment on Gita, but they comment on Bhagavatam. Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami. And they always quote Bhagavatam to explain all their tapas Siddhanta. So that shows the emphasis of Bhagavatam. The other acharyas and Madan and Gaudiya Vaisnava acharyas like Baladev, Vidyabhushan, and Vishwanath, they commented on Gita. The six Goswamis didn't write any comments on Gita. They quote the Gita in their books, the writings and Sandarbhas, and other books of the Goswamis. But they pay more attention to Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the Mukhya Puran and the Paramahamsa Samhitam, the main shastra for Gaudiya Vaishnavism. But one should not boycott Bhagavad Gita. The best way to approach Bhagavad Gita is to read a verse every day, and read it every day. It's like every day you take breakfast and lunch, maybe milk at dinner. So every day there's certain books you always read. Read Bhagavatam and Gita and Rasic books and Leela books and other books. It's just part of the life of a bhakta. Matchata matkata pranas bodhiyas bodhiyantat parasram katayantat samanisham Sashanti Charamanti Cha. It gives great satisfaction, great bliss to read Bhagavad Gita, especially when you read with other devotees. Bhagavad Gita is like a Bible. It's one thing, so I've grown out of the Bhagavad Gita. He's not growing. He or she is not growing. Oh, I'm too big for that. Krishna is the Bhagavad Gita. It's his words, his life. Raganuga Bhakti, whenever we talk about Raganuga Bhakti, we have to talk about Bhagavad Gita. Right? Chapter 4, verse 11. Yetama. So when you're reading a most rasic book in the whole planet, by the most rasic devotee in the whole planet, Anandadas Babaji's commentary on Vilapa Kusumanjali, he quotes Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 11. Verse 11, right? As you surrender to Krishna, he rewards you accordingly. That's Bhagavad Gita. What about 10.10 Bhagavatam? Or 10.10 Gita? Trisham Sat. This shows that if Krishna doesn't give us intelligence, we'll never understand any tattva. So we want to understand Prema Tattva, Leela Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Asakali Tattva, all the tattvas of Radharani and Braj Tattva. Can we understand it by intelligence given by Krishna, only by Swarti, revelation by Krishna. So many verses in Gita are all about Rag Bhakti. 1866. That's 65. 66. Sarvadharma.
Sarvadharman pratijya mamekam sharanam gajaham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha.
This is about the gopis. They surrendered everything to Krishna, and Braj means go, move. So they move in Braj and surrender everything to Krishna. In 1865, what is that? Bolo. There you go. So many verses of Gita. Ananyas Chintyanto Mam Yejana Paripashate. Yoga Shemam. Gopis surrendered, they were fully Ananya Bhaktis of Krishna, and Krishna took care of everything for them. Provide everything. So Gita is very nourishing for Rag Bhakti and a very important scripture. You have 24 hours a day, don't neglect Gita. If you don't like one particular Gita, get another Gita. Get Vishnu commentary of Vishnu Chakravarti, Ravali Vidibhushan, or Sri Swami. Sri Swami's comment is English also.
Is it right to
Wait, new question. Follow.
Is it right to read Bhagavad Gita tikas all together, each slok together from all the acharyas?
What's he say?
So, is it right to read the Bhagavad Gita tikas from different acharyas together in one, like sort of in one go?
Where's right and wrong in this? It's always right to read Shastra, and always right to hear from proper spiritual authorities, acharyas, gurus, etc., that they're approved by your Diksha Guru. If you have a doubt about a particular book or particular author, you ask your Guru, and the Guru will tell you, this is good, this is not good. Like someone I saw on the internet, someone asked a question. They asked a question to some Raghunaga Bhakta preacher person. He said, can you suggest any translations of our Gaudiya scriptures that are not done by the BBT? And he said, unfortunately, most of the translations of the books of our tradition, the Gaudiya Vaisnava, they're not even translated from the original language. They're usually translated from Bengali translations or Hindi translations. The books of our Sampradaya, Gaudiya Sampradaya, are all written in Sanskrit, but not too many people know Sanskrit. It's a very difficult language. So those books are translated in Bengali, and all the translations that are in English are translations of the Bengali to English. So that's the answer the person gave. He said, best you take the time out and learn Sanskrit. Translate yourself. So I personally have 5 Gitas by 5 responsible people, and I read one verse from all 5. So you can do like that.
I am also doing like that. I just wanted to confirm whether it
That's right. Do the wrong thing first and get permission later, right? That's backwards. Anyway, you achieve your objective. Keep studying, that's the main thing. Jai Radhe. No sleeping. You're partying last night. She looked like a cat, sleeping cat. Cat was up all night last night. You had a kirtan program last night? Okay. Jai Radhe Sham. Jai Radhe. Jai. Questions? Ramachari Baba. That's you. Is where is Saffron? That guy wearing saffron? I can't see it for you. Yeah. Yeah, white hat, saffron dhoti? Are you a brahmachari, Baba? Well, that's the question.
You were talking about Radha Kunda Bhakti. Seems like, something very far and very high, from the position where I am. So how do I go step by step to that level?
You're asking a question where some discussion on Raganuga Bhakti, and it seems like a very high and far, difficult practice. So how do we go step by step to that practice of Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti? Is that your question?
Yes.
It's a very good question. There's two types of sadhana, Raganuga Bhakti sadhana and Vaidhi sadhana. But the only thing that can inspire one to start, Vaidhi sadhana doesn't go step by step and end up in Raganuga sadhana. That's the first point you should understand. You can practice Vaidhi sadhana for 5,000 years and never start Raganuga sadhana. Why? Because Raganuga sadhana is based on greed and an interest and attraction to follow the ways and means and feelings and bhavas and emotions of the eternal residents of Vrindavan, like Radharani, Lalita Vishaka, Rupa Manjari, Tulsi Manjari, or Subal, Sridham Saka, Yashodama, Radhana Baba. But if that doesn't appear and manifest in one's heart, that attraction, that interest, then there's no starting point. So it's not really anything to worry about, because if that greed, it's called transcendental greed, spiritual greed, not like greed for Maya or greed for material things. It's greed, it's attraction, interest to love and serve Krishna, like a Brijvasi does, a specific Brijvasi. So how you get to that place, Rupa Goswami describes in Bhakti-rasa Sindhu. Bhakti-rasa Sindhu, first wave, chapter 2, verse 270 to 309. There's 40 verses he describes the practice of Raganuga sadhana, how it starts, how it begins. And it starts and begins by mercy. By mercy received from Bhagavan directly or from a devotee. But if you don't get the mercy, you never start. But what contributes to creating greed, he says, there's a litmus test to see if you have some eligibility or some interest to practice Raga Bhakti. One is you come to Vrindavan and you like the living in Vrindavan. You like Vrindavan. You don't know why, you just like it. You like the trees, you like the Yamuna, you like Giriraj, and like Radharaman, like the Thakurjis of Radha and Krishna, Astasakis, whatever. And that indicates some interest possibly in Raga Bhakti. First thing is you like Vrindavan. Second thing is you see particular murtis in Vrindavan, or see them anywhere. See Radha and Krishna, or see Radha and Krishna, Astasakis, and you think you see many murtis of different forms of God, but your heart doesn't reach out or feel any attraction to any other form of Radha and Krishna. That means that's some indication, maybe some eligibility for Raga Bhakti. And then if you read books about Krishna's Vrindavan Leela, there's Mathura Leela and Dwarka Leela, but you read about Krishna's Vrindavan Leela with the gopis, for example, Radha and Krishna and gopis, Ras Leela, Jal Bihar, water pastimes, and holy pastimes, and you think this is very nice, and this is very sweet exchanges. I would like to be part of these leelas. I would like to live with these forms of Krishna and his devotees in Vrindavan. That's a strong indicator that there's some kind of greed awoken in you for following Raga Bhakti. So there's different ways to describe. These are all described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, verse 270 to 309, part 2. You can see it. So if none of that is there, then keep chanting and doing Bhakti Bhajan. Because you practice Bhakti sadhana, you get prema also, that'll take you to Vaikuntha, not to Vrindavan. Is that clear? So you get greed for serving Radha Krishna by the mercy of Krishna or devotees that are worshipping Radha Krishna. So you said your question was, you people here are talking about Ragnuga Bhakti. Because everyone sitting here is practicing Ragnuga Bhakti in their own way and method. So everyone you're sitting next to is all Ragnuga Bhakti. So watch out. It's contagious. Danger. Savdhan. Vaishnava Savdhan.
Little bit sick.
That's okay. Knee on the other side of Paul there, you can put your heads together. Jaya Maharaj. Questions? Questions? Krishi?
Internet question.
Just a few days back, I got a question regarding Shri Radha Krishna's lotus feet, lotus palms. I couldn't recall, I have feeling I've heard it somewhere, but I can't remember in which Shastra. The commentary about each of the signs, the lotus feet, in Madhur Bhav, was offered, descriptions, for example, chakra, Krishna's, Radharani's lotus feet, it cleans the devotee's heart.
Yeah, it's all Aishwarya Vishwa, Aishwarya again.
Is there any our Acharya's Madhur Bhav description actually, what effect these signs have on both of them, on Radharani's lotus feet, that chakra towards Krishna and Krishna's signs towards Radharani? I have a feeling I've read some of the points, but I can't recall now which Shastra, whose Grantha it was. Do you recall anything like that?
The question is, there's 19 marks, or it's called Chinna, Charan Chinna, 19 marks on the bottom of Krishna's feet and Radharani's feet. And different Shastras and Puranas have described the meaning of these symbols. And they've been collected in different articles here and there. In our chanting book, we describe the symbols, and they're described in Skanda Puran, Padma Puran, but all those descriptions are pretty much referring to sadhana tattva and vaidhi sadhana, and about the vibhuti and opulence and power of the feet. We added some things ourselves in the description of those. Who can do that? Can you go in my locker, my book locker, and get my Appreciating Vrindavan book? It's on the bottom shelf. I'll get a plug here. But so the question is there any description of a Rasik or Madhurya Bhav meaning of these symbols on their feet? Is that the question? Because Jiva Goswami cites some scripture where he mentions some of the symbols, not all of them, and some Rasik meaning. Now I'm going to read from my book because I can't remember it. I can personally give out my own meaning all of them, because I meditate on the feet with my own meanings, but I don't want to be too, avant-garde, Should quote the Shastra. Is that it? Yes. Appreciating it.
Yes.
No, wait a minute, I made a mistake. Art of chanting. Yeah, take it back. Art of chanting. I think I said appreciating that. Art of chanting. Appreciating Radha as a telepencil slowly down. Take that to your Radha. Jaya Radhe. Okay, it says Krishna has a chakra on his right foot, and chakra represents, cuts down the enemies of lust, anger, and greed of devotee. So what is the Madhura aspect of that? So we're going to find out. Okay. Okay, kids. Anyway, Govinda Lilamrita just mentions some marks. It doesn't mention anything specific. In chapter 16, Govinda Lilamrita, it says, simply by meditating on Krishna's lotus feet, one will attain spiritual material wealth, fortune, beauty, and good qualities. That doesn't say much. Well, here's the description of the marks on Krishna Radha's feet comes Skandapran, Matsyapran, Garga Samhita, Sardadarshini commentaries on 10th canto, Vishnu Chakravarti, Ananda Chandrika is Vishnu Chakravarti's commentary on Govinda Lilamrita, Rupa Chintamani by Vishnu Chakravarti, and Jiva Goswami's book called Srikara Pada Yuga, Srikara Pada, Kara means hand, Pada means foot, Yuga means Ramakrishna. Srikara Pada Yuga Samariti. The conch shell. The conch shell is on Radharani's and Krishna's feet. It's a symbol of victory that proclaims that if you take shelter of Radha Govinda's lotus feet, you'll always be saved from distress. As the conch shell holds water for bathing the divine couple, Radha Krishna's lotus feet contain Amrit to extinguish material existence. So where is Madhurya in that? I don't know. The flag. There's a flag on Krishna's right foot and Radharani's left foot, I think. Wait a minute. Let me picture yourself. What? I'm confused.
Left foot, center.
So on Krishna's right foot, the flag, and Radharani's left foot.
Center.
Okay. What does the flag mean? The flag on Radharani's lotus feet proclaims supreme victory for her Sakhis. Generally. These are by some questionable acharya, those are Radha Kunda. Fish. There's a fish on Radharani's right foot and Krishna's left foot. What does a fish mean? As a fish cannot exist without water, devotees cannot live for a moment without the lotus feet of Radha. The fish on Radharani's feet indicates that she cannot live a moment without her beloved Shyam. Our fickle mind resembles a fish, so we should always meditate on the lotus feet of Radha Govinda to control our fish-like mind. The lotus feet of Radha Govinda can never live in a dry place. Therefore, the heart must be liquefied with rust for Radha Krishna's feet to stay there. The fish is the insignia on Cupid's flag, Makar. So the Makar, because it's actually a Makar, Krishna's has it's translated as fish, it's a Makar. The Makar on Krishna's foot excites the gopis' desires for amorous affairs. It also indicates that Krishna has conquered Cupid, and thereby he shows Cupid's flag of surrender on the soles of his feet. That's pretty Madhurya. You did what? It's in the other room, free to take it. Come on, you don't know it's not Aishwarya, no? It's Madhurya. So I like that. There's an elephant goat on Radha Krishna's feet. Krishna's foot is on the right, left foot, Radharani's foot, right foot. The goat denotes that if you meditate on Radha Govinda's lotus feet, then the mad elephant of the mind can be controlled. And fixed in Bhakti Bhajan. On Radharani's foot, the elephant goat shows that Radharani, and only Radharani, can completely control the mad elephant hero named Hari. How much Madhurya do you want, man? Okay. Then, okay, there's a lotus on Radharani's feet and Krishna's feet. The nectar-filled lotus creates greed for prema in the minds of the bee-like devotees. If you meditate on the lotus feet of Radha Govinda. The lotus feet of Radha Shyam are so soft they can only be compared to lotus petals. At first glance, the feet of Radha and Krishna appear like fresh lotus blossoms. The lotus flower on the bottom of Radha Krishna's feet indicate that Radha Krishna's lotus feet always live in Rajabhumi, which is shaped like a lotus. It means if you always meditate on the lotus feet of Radha Shyam, you will soon become fortunate because the divine couple grant boons by tapping you with a lotus. The lotus on Radharani's foot refers to periods of Raman when Krishna's lotus hands massage her feet. It also refers to the small blue lotus flower, Lila Kamal, that Radha always carries in her hand. Radha often uses this Lila Kamal to gently tap Shyam when he, quote, misbehaves. That's Rasik. That's Madhurya, isn't it? Say yes.
Yes.
So I can't cite the reference, but I know the guy very well. So for most people, the symbols on Radha Krishna's feet are very much Aishwarya and not much Madhurya. But in my book, they're all You see the world according to your vow. Where your Atma is, that's where your world is. You see some girl walking on a tightrope, and remember Krishna Lila. We went on Go Down Frequent the other day. There was some little girl walking out. She had a triangle, 2 triangles set up with a rope, and she was balancing walking on the rope with a stick and dancing to music. And then we went down another 100 meters. The girl was kneeling on a tali. The tali, a metal plate, was on the rope, balanced on the rope, and she was kneeling on it, dancing. So she got some good donations. So I said, what does this remind you of? And everybody was quiet. I said, in Pradosh Leela, Krishna goes in the Royal Theatre of Nanda Maharaj, and they set up a balance beam and tricks your gymnasts, Nanda Maharaj's gymnast team, the Nandagram Gymnast Club. You know, they get up there and do acrobats on the balance beam and handstands and springs and all that. I said, you see that? He said, no, we don't see that. Remember? So this is Braj. Everything is there to remind you of Krishna Lila. Nice question.
Actually, Maharaj, now hearing it, it's exactly repeating those quotes that I've read, and I had a feeling it's from your book, but somehow I just couldn't remember exactly because I was asked which Acharya's right, I said, we have to ask. Thank you, Andres.
You chased out the criminal. KGB always catches the criminal. The KGB Ukraine branch. That's an interesting twist. Okay, whatever. The Serbia or whatever, I don't know. I forget. Question. Yes.
So the meaning of Maha Mantra according to Raghunath Das, what do we take? How do we take that? What can we do with that?
What can you do with it?
For every name there is a whole meditation.
The question is about the meaning of the holy name, Maha Mantra, Hari Krishna Mantra, given by Vishnu Chakravarti.
No, Raghunath Das.
I know.
Oh.
I'm not finished. The two George say. By Vishnu Chakravarti, which is modeled after the meaning of Raghunath Das Goswami. I have Vishnu's right in front of me, I think. Yeah, Vishnu. It's in the book, part of it. So what's the question?
So what can we do with that?
What can we do? Well, first of all, this meditation of Vishwanath, it's attributed to Vishwanath and attributed to Raghunath Das. Raghunath Das's Miya Mahamantra is quoted in Radha Kunda commentary by Navdas Babaji Maharaj, and is accepted by most of Gaudiya Vaisnava Acharyas and Vaishnavas that although it can't solidly prove that Raghunath Das wrote this or Vishwanath wrote it, but it has a basic idea. It contains the conceptions that they worshipped and believed in and wrote about. So the meaning of Raghunath Das's mantra, all 3 names are names of Krishna, no Shakti there. Hari, Krishna, Ram is all Shaktiman, Sri Krishna. And the idea is that Radharani is in separation from Krishna, and she's chanting the Maha Mantra in separation, and she's envisioning each name is a form and pastime of Krishna. It's actually one continuous pastime. So Radharani translates Hari as thief and Krishna as draw or pull or force, etc. Ram means satisfies, pleases, different things like this. So so those that are practicing Raganuga Bhakti Manjari Bhav are encouraged, if they have the adhikar, if they have the appetite, and if they have that purity of mind and intention, to chant the Hare Krishna mantra as a service to Radharani. Because everything the manjaris do is a service to Radharani. In Sadhguru and Siddharup should be connected to Radharani. That's the whole idea of Rag Bhakti. It's Rag for Radharani. Everything we do and see and speak and read about should be connected to Radharani and eternal service. So we chant Hare Krishna and think of a meaning by some other acharya, which is more Shakti-man, that wouldn't be so favorable for Radha Bhakti and Dasi Bhava Manjari. So we chant the Manjari while we use it judiciously according to our adhikar, whether we can handle that meaning without becoming disturbed, or whether we're blessed with that meaning by our guru. Generally, when a guru gives diksha, he gives mantras and he gives meaning of mantras. It's called mantra art. Mantra art chintana means how to think about or meditate on a mantra received from guru. So generally that specifically means the diksha mantras, which are Gopal mantra and Kama Gayatri. But when the guru gives a Maha mantra, you may also give a meditation to meditate on Maha mantra, which will be according to the guru's own bhav and the stairati that he's giving to the devotees through diksha and teachings. So how you use it, how you use the meaning of Das Goswami under the guidance and recommendation, direction of your guru, your bhajan, shiksha guru, diksha guru, etc. The meaning is Radharani is separated from Krishna, and the meaning is that Krishna plays the flute, calls her out of her household, she runs to the forest, to the kunj, and Krishna starts taking away her shyness and everything else that goes with it. And they enjoy intimately and have a sumptuous pastimes of divine love. And that's what's in the mantra. So if one is advanced in bhakti bhajan and bhakti in devotion and has the blessings of Guru, then he can meditate on that meaning or a similar meaning. But it's not that the shoe store has many shoes, but not every shoe fits your foot, whatever fits your adhikar, whatever your eligibility is, your realization. We shouldn't try to go higher than we are. He says that a bird can only fly high in the sky according to the size of his power of his wings. A little sparrow flies from tree to tree and he's out of breath. It was but big seagulls fly from London to Boston. One bird flies across the Atlantic Ocean, called the Arctic tern, T-E-R-N. It's like a big seagull. 5,000 miles on little... Can you do that? That's a ginger shakti. Where he gets his gas from, where he refills his tank, I don't know. Because he comes down for a fish or two. Shroom. Amazing nature. So it's very beautiful meaning. It's revealed in the books of our Raganuga gurus and acharyas. In this book there are different meanings given by the holy name. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gopal Guru, Jiva Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, etc. And some brief mention of Raghunath Das and Vishwanath. So you can pick one meaning that appeals to your understanding, perception. Is that okay? Book is available in the other room, you can take it. Checkbook. Everybody's sleepy because I had a big Sunday feast program. We had Sunday feast program. was a joint Indian-Russian venture. I should say adventure. Some things we were familiar with, some things were unusual. Strange. No, it was good. Maharaj enjoyed it. So, question? Diane, question?
I have.
Okay, Diane. Wait.
It's my question.
Okay, your question. Are you Italian?
I'm from Radha Kunda.
Okay, that's right. That's good. You're from there, you're going there.
The verse of Manjari 78, when Radharani beat Krishna with the lotus flower. Here is written that Shyamasundara make a mistake when Radharani kiss him. Here is written exactly. How, she wonders how can I properly reward him, and then gives him a sweet kiss. When he's kissed, our hero makes a mistake. What mistake Krishna do? I don't understand.
What did you say?
So in verse 78 of
Yeah,
Vilapa Kusumanjali, so there is some description where Radharani beats Krishna, hits Krishna with a lotus flower.
Because he made a mistake.
Yeah. So
But
When he was kissing Radharani.
yeah. No.
Radharani is Krishna, and here is written that Krishna make a mistake, and so Radharani beat him with the lotus flower. And what mistake Krishna made?
What mistake Krishna makes?
Yes.
What's the verses before that describing? 77.
77 is will the joy of my eyes increase when I see one maiden swiftly and happily bringing various blooming flowers, big gunja beads and peacock feathers, while Hari make the braid of my Swami. With these he shivers and her whole body blooms up with gauze pimples.
So the question is in verse 78, Vilapa Kusumanjali, Radharani taps Krishna with her Lila Kamal because he made a mistake. What's a mistake? Mistake, because whenever you read Shastra, you have to read it in context. What's the context? Means what's the verses before, what's the verse after, what's the theme of the chapter, what's the author trying to convey. There's many points of analysis to make a clear understanding of what you're reading. So that's why he said back up to verse 77. So some Manjari Sakhis bought flowers because Krishna was decorating Radharani. Why was Krishna decorating Radharani? Because Radharani defeated him in lovemaking pastimes and took on a bhava Swadhina Brachika. Swadhina Brachika is the Nayaka bhav of the heroine, of the leading lady, beloved Radharani, where she takes a controlling superior position of Krishna. So when you're a controller, you usually have a stick or something to beat your servants with, or a yardstick to hit your students or something. So Krishna was decorating Radharani's braid with flowers. But while he's decorating her braid, instead of tying her braid, he tied her hair to a top knot like a coward boy. And Malika Manjari was holding a mirror, and Radharani looked at me and said, "What's this guy? I'm not Subal Saka." And Radharani, boom. So the mistake he made, he did the mistake when he first asked me, what is Krishna's mistake? When the answer came to my mind, I said, Krishna was being Krishna, that's his mistake. So what mistake Krishna made? Because we're already about to. We're already hit him with the lotus flower because Krishna was being Krishna. That was his mistake. But I don't want to say it because I thought it was too obtuse and too confusing. So this is the situation. You're supposed to be just your humble servant, and like a Sakhi Manjari, decorate cool flowers and jewelry flowers and nice small bale flowers, put it around his beanie. These guys acting crazy. That makes a top knot. So, Bobson. Is that okay? There's no mistake. It's intentional. Say what mistake Krishna made? Krishna doesn't make mistakes. What mistake Krishna makes? Why did God make people suffer and people don't suffer? He didn't make it that way. It's always been that way. Karma is beginningless. Help. Jaya Radhe Shah. Question, what time is it? That's the question.
20, 25 more, 24 minutes more.
Right.
Internet questions. Internet questions.
Internet questions.
Internet questions.
Clear as a net question.
Jai Sri Radhe. How does a sadhaka emulate the mood of Rati Manjari in their practice of sadhana? Is there a correlation between seva to Gaur and seva to Radha?
How many questions are there? Let's ask one question at a time.
How does a sadhaka emulate the mood of Rati Manjari in their practice of sadhana?
How does a sadhaka relate with the mood of Rati Manjari in the practice of sadhana? First of all, what is the mood of Rati Manjari? How do you know the mood of Rati Manjari, and how can you relate to the mood of Rati Manjari? You can only understand the mood of Rati Manjari, like we mentioned earlier, by studying the books that Raghunath Das Goswami wrote, Stavavali, especially Vilakusamanjari and other books, and praying to him that his mood will be revealed to you. Mood means bhav. It basically means Gopi bhav of Tulsi Manjari, which is not easily attained. It's only if it comes down from them that bhav, those feelings of attachment to Radharani, and feelings of dedication to Radharani, and feelings of submission to Radharani, wanting to please Radharani with every thought, word, and deed. Those are the feelings, emotions that make Raghunath Das, and make up compose his bhav and his mentality, abhiman, mentality, identity as a Manjari. Tulsi Manjari is a common name, officially known as Rati Manjari. So it's a kind of a hypothetical question someone is asking. How do we follow or adopt the bhav or Rati of Rati Manjari when we're a sadhaka, neophyte beginning sadhaka? We have to read about it and hear about it over and over again, and pray and chant a lot of Maha Mantra to purify our consciousness so these transcendental ideas and feelings and conceptions manifest in our heart and mind by the mercy of Radha and Krishna and Tulsi Manjari, Rati Manjari. There's no snap, 1, 2, 3, snap your finger. A lot of things in Bhakti Bhajan, even beginning with understanding that the effulgence, beauty, and sweetness of Nam-Prabhu depends on Spurti. Atasri Krishna Namadi Navaved Graham Injay Sevamake Jivada Swayameva Spratyada. Spurti means revelation, vision, which is given, not attained. You cannot attain on your own, has to be given to you. It's rewarded to you, it's given to you. It's received by you. So this is not the empirical process where we, on our own strength and power, we conquer Krishna, we conquer the kingdom of God. It all depends on descent of mercy. So that's all I can say about receiving Okay, what's this? There's another question, second question. Person asks.
Is there a correlation between seva to Gaur and seva to Radha?
There's a correlation between seva to Gaur and seva to Radha. There's a bhajan. Bhajan, I think it's by Nartan. Nartan Das Thakur, Gaur Padaravinda. By getting the mercy of the lotus feet of Gauranga, one can become a servant of Radharani. So the question, what's the correlation between Gaur Kripa and Radharani Seva? And we say, yeah, that's why we're Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Our approach to Radharani is based on the teaching of Lord Chaitanya and the teachings they revealed to the 6 Goswamis. So we attain Radharani, we learn about Radharani only by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, coming directly from his mouth and indirectly from the mouth of the Gurus and Acharyas, the order to preach or write about Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He personally, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya ordered the 6 Goswamis, Bhakti Shastra Likana. He says, Vrindavan Vas, go to Vrindavan and write Shastra on Bhakti Shastra Likana, write Shastras about how to practice Raganuga Bhakti and Manjari Bhava Upasana. So they did. So it's only by the mercy of Gauranga that we'll attain knowledge of Radharani, the service of Radharani, and the eternal darshan and nitya seva Radharani. When we come by the mercy of Panchatattva, especially Gaur Nitai, Sita Nitai Gaur Sitanath. So there's every connection. As far as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, there's every connection with Gauranga and Radharani. If you ask the same question to the Markacharya followers, they'll say, Gaur, we don't need Gaur. Gaur doesn't play any role for them. He doesn't mean anything to them. But for us, you're a Gaudiya Vaishnava. If you're not a Gaudiya, there's no Gaur, no Nitai, no Advaita, there's no Gaudiya Vaishnava. We worship Gauranga and Panchatattva by mantra, by meditation, by puja, by prayer, by seva, by kirtan. Everything we're doing is we're called Gaudiya Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Gaudiya means Gaudadesh, the place of Lord Chaitanya. Radha Krishna, Nitai Kripa Bina Nai, Radha Krishna Paite Nai. You don't get the Kripa Nitai, you can't attain Radha Krishna. You don't get the Kripa Nitai, you can't attain Gaur. So Nitai Gaur Sitanath are necessary. What is Gauranga? Gauranga is Radharani's Bhav and Kanti. So if you want to attain Radharani's Bhav and Kanti, you want to go, Kanti means Muktir Hetavatai Rupam Swarupini Vyasati. You want to attain your spiritual Swarup, which is the golden Swarup of Manjari. You want to have the Gopi Bhava of Radharani, you need Gauranga. Because he has the Gopi Bhava and he has the golden Swarup. Kanti, he has Gopi Kanti, Radha Kanti. The Radha Bhav, Gauranga. It's getting cold now. Just get that sweater, that special sweater. Time to bring it out. Okay, question.
Can Spurti come at any stage?
Question is, can Spurti come at any stage? Generally, when Anathas Babaji was asked a question about Spurti, Vispurti, in Saksha Darshan, he replied that Spurtis usually start coming at the level of Baba. There's different Baba Bhakti. But there's different types of Spurti, like, small Spurti. When it's described as almost a direct vision. It comes to the state of Baba Bhakti. Before that, any experiences someone has, Jiva Goswami says any experiences, and Narottam Das Thakur says in Prema Bhakti Chandrika, any kind of transcendental experiences or anubhavas that we have, dreams or swartis or visions, should be kept very secret and always share with the Guru or some trusted Vaishnava or Vaishnavi. Our general impression is that, from what we read, because swartis are synonymous with Baba, but we have experience, we have anubhav, that's why it's called anubhav. Anubhav means experience. It's not Baba Bhakti, it's anubhav, means experience. Everyone has different experiences. So anything like Brahma Sutra describes, if we have dreams of Guru or Bhagavan, they have some reality. So it's not saying they're swartis, it's talking about swapna. So if we have a swapna, a dream about Guru or some Guru or Bhagavan Krishna, he says it has some reality, but the extent of that reality has to be confirmed with a sadhu. Sometimes dreams give us, you receive mantra in a dream, sometimes you receive medicine in a dream, sometimes you receive predictions in a dream, which are going to come true, premonition, and sometimes you receive medicine, cures in a dream, and they're real. Brahma Sutra, which means Vedanta Sutra, says dreams are real, they can be real. It's not using the term sporty, it says swapna. So you may have a dream, Krishna appears to you and gives you some message, read Bhagavad Gita every day. They say, wow, what a dream that was.
We should go for
That's a good dream. Especially you get on Gita Jayanti Day, get a dream. Read Bhagavad Gita. Yes. You have a swarti? It's not my business. It's your private. Well, we may have some experience, but don't just immediately label swarti. Swarti is a very advanced level of perception, a high state of pure consciousness. That's my understanding. Because the whole context of this discussion that we heard and read from Anantadas Babaji Maharaj was with Yuga Kishore about 20 years ago or something, a long time ago. And Yuga Kishore was saying that many of his Russian god brothers and god sisters, they were having dreams of Krishna, having swartis left, right, and center. And I'm your disciple, but I'm not having any experience like that. What's wrong with me? And so Anantadas Babaji started laughing. He said, it's very nice. They're eating mangoes without planting a seed. They didn't plant a mango seed to get a mango tree to eat mangoes, but they're eating mangoes. He just laughed. He laughed the whole thing off. Very good. You're having a swarti and you haven't even gotten out of your diapers yet, you know. You're not even free from anartha-nivritti, and you're already having swartis, visions of Krishna, dreams of Krishna. I saw Radha Krishna, because Yuga Kishore said, they said I saw Radha Krishna. Radha, he talked to me in a dream, she told me, give me instructions. And Anantadas laughed, he laughed, heavily laughed. He said, very nice, they're eating mangoes without planting a seed. Everybody wants to get perfection easily, but it doesn't come easily. The fruit gets ripe in its own time. You can't go, come on, ripe. It takes time. You want to see a fruit, you see a flower, then finally some little green thing, then it starts changing colors, it grows, it gets fatter. Finally it's a ripe mango. But if you have a proper seed and you're a proper gardener, then you get a proper fruit. Seed is Bhakti Lata Beach. And gardening is Shravana Kirtanam Smaranam. Eventually you get a ripe fruit, prem phal. Questions? Questions? What time is it? That's my question.
10 minutes.
4:50.
10 minutes.
Question?
Maharaj, in Mukti Charit, while negotiating for pearls, Vishakha Sakhi addresses Krishna as a cheater. That by quoting the statement that he cheated Bali Maharaj when he was in Vaman Avatar. But at another point, we see that the residents of Braj do not consider Krishna as Bhagwan and they have their own relationship with Krishna. So how can we reconcile it? How can we understand that?
So when Radharani was negotiating for pearls with Krishna, she mentions in one statement that you have cheated, like you are a cheater, you have cheated Bali Maharaj. So we generally read that like residents of Vrindavan do not have a conception of Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Then how do we understand this?
Question is, in Mukti Charita by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the gopis are bargaining with Krishna because their pearl garden was a flop show. And Krishna's pearl garden was a smashing success. It produced different colored pearls, red, blue, green, yellow. Not only there are different colors, different shapes, they also smell like flowers. Every pearl smelled like a flower. That's a pretty far out pearl necklace. Like Gopis got Gomalata. Some Brijvasis say the gopis they planted pearls and they got Gomalata, little red, gunja berries, little red and black berries. So they made necklaces of that and came to Krishna and traded them. That's how Krishna started wearing gunja mala. Because the gopis had given away all the pearls, necklaces that the husbands gave them, so-called husbands, and mothers and everybody gave them. They got so many pearls. And they planted them in the ground, they all got turned into nothing, into weeds, cigar bushes. But the cigar bushes were gunja berries, those little red blackberries, which are a poisonous berry. They don't smell like flowers, you can't eat them, they have no value. They don't have any value. So the gopis, Krishna got all pearls and he was making necklaces and giving necklaces to the cows and bulls and giving to the monkeys. The gopis said, we lost all our pearls and our mothers are going to ask, where's our pearl necklace? Give us some pearls. He said, no way, I won't even give you one pearl. Very angry. So then at that time, what they say?
Vishakha Sakhi was saying that you are a deceit, you're a cheater, like whatever you did with Bali Maharaj in Vaman.
Yeah. At that time the gopis criticized Krishna. You're acting like a cheater, you're just like when you came as Vamana Dev, you cheated Bali Maharaj, his kingdom and the whole universe. Now you're trying to cheat us. So what's the question?
I was asking, we see that the residents of Braj do not consider Krishna as Bhagwan. They have their own relationship with Krishna. Like he's a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. But here, Vishakha Sakhi is addressing Krishna as Vaman Avatar, like Krishna.
Yeah, the thing is, when the gopis were angry with Krishna, it's like a way of insulting someone. To Krishna, you say Krishna's Bhagavan, that's an insult. You say you're Paramatma, it's an insult. You say you're Janardhan, it's an insult. Saying Nrsinga is an insult. There's a book by Hans Saduta, a play by Rupa Goswami. Alita Saki is talking to the swan. He says, tell your Krishna. He said, why is he behaving? He says, listen, Radharani is not Radharani. So why is Krishna behaving like Nrsingadev? You're ripping out Radharani's heart. So they know when separation, they know that Krishna is Das avatar, and Vamana is one of the Das avatar, and Nrsinga is one of the Das avatar. You know. And like they say in this Hansa, they say, why is Krishna turned into Ra? Why you pick up that dirty lady Kuja? You picked up that dirty sweeper lady Kuja when Radharani's the Queen of Vrindavan waiting for you here. You're a bum, you know. So they go through the Das avatars and they rip Krishna apart by describing what it means. Well, that's just when they're angry, when they're in separation. Then the Aishwarya aspect and Godhead of Krishna comes out, and they speak like that. It's all in jest. It's all hasyaras. That's why it says these are pranks. It's pranks. It's all mukta charita and all that. It's all funny leelas. It's all hasyaras leelas. Krishna says, "I won't give you one pearl. I won't give you one pearl." And he's given to the monkeys. The monkeys are chewing on it. Gopis are so angry at that guy. So one Brishvasi said, the Gopis got Gunjamala when they planted. And then because the Gopis bought all kinds of money and gold coins, and Krishna said, I'm not selling. So they went back and said, listen, we have to trade, we have to do trade. So they strung up all the Gunjamala, and they bought back hundreds and hundreds of Gunjamala. So Krishna, let's trade. Look what we got these red shiny things. Hey Krishna, that's Gunjamala. I can get that anywhere. It's a weed growing here and there. No, we strung ourselves. Okay, you know. So then he started giving them pearl necklaces. You put them in a box. Put their name on it. That's where the original gift boxes came. You make a box, like it was Christmas recently, put a box, a little card for Krishna Das, you know, with love, Krishna Dasi. And in the box, the new sweater and stuff like that. So Krishna made boxes. He got wooden boxes of filament pearls. He got a nameplate card, Lalita, and he called him and said, Lalita, here's your gift box, take-home gift. Here's your take-home gift, a bunch of pearl necklaces, and Lalita and Vishaka. So Krishna came clean at the end. Krishna became a good guy at the end. It's always like that. Every devotee has his black times with Krishna. When he deletes Krishna from his phone, you know. Then he puts him back on, adds his number again. You know, like I had a friend, they like Radha and they're bringing Maharaj, and they weren't bringing it. I said, what's wrong? They said, I'm angry at Radha. I'm not going to have his darshan. And 3 months went by. I said, what happened? I made up with him. I'm going to see him again. I said, good. So this is Bob. This is their feeling. So Gopis sometimes are angry at Krishna, sometimes love Krishna. But it's all jest. The Brishvasis, he's a naughty coward boy, that's all. But Purnamasi and Bhagari Rishi and Garga Rishi, they told the Gopis so many times, this guy's Bhagavan, and they go, what are you talking about? They don't believe it. They've heard it all the time. Because every Janmashtami, Garga Muni, Garga Rishi comes in the underground and sings all the glories of Krishna. Everyone hears about it. And they'll go, he says, you believe that? He says, Srinivama. But they hear it and they remember it. And when they have to use it, that Aishwarya again, they beat up Krishna with it. You know? Otherwise, they have no interest in that. They just know he's Govinda, Govinath, Shamasundar, Funky Bihari. That's all they know, and that's all they love, and that's all they care about. Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe. Happy New Year! Jaya Radhe. Okay, good night.